Good evening, everyone. My name's Gardner and I'm the Director of Property Services for Wolverhampton Homes, and a very warm welcome to our damp, mould and condensation Facebook Live event. I'll hand you over to Bex.
Hi everyone, I'm Bex Clarke. I'm Head of Customer Experience here at Wolverhampton Homes. As Ian's already touched on, tonight we'll be giving you some top tips around damp, mould and condensation, but also what other support is available for customers throughout the winter months, which we know can be a really difficult time for people. The event tonight will take around about 30 minutes, depending on how many questions you've got for us. Please do put your questions in the comments so that we're able to see them, and we've got colleagues on hand to pass those to us as we go through the event tonight. Thanks,
Bex. So what's important to remember is all homes can suffer from condensation and, in certain circumstances, damp and mould. Most cases caused by condensation. Most cases are caused by condensation, and this happens when moist air hits a cold surface. So you'll often see this happening on the inside of windows, or even on the inside of a car, or on the inside of a bus driving down the road. Everything that we do inside our home can create moisture and therefore create condensation. And normal day-to-day things like boiling the kettle, washing, using the iron, washing up, using the shower, etc., can all cause humidity in our home, along with normal breathing, large families, pets, tropical fish tanks. All of these things can create high levels of humidity, and if we don't get the balance right between the level of moisture and heat in our homes, that can cause condensation, and then that can lead to mould. What's really good though is there's ways that we can reduce moisture in the air, reduce that humidity and reduce condensation causing damage and limiting mould growth in our homes. And some really simple things like putting lids on cooking pans, closing the bathroom door when people are having a shower, leaving the window open just to let that steam escape through windows rather than it going all through the house. And where possible, drying clothes outside. And I know that's really difficult this time of year, but if clothes are dried in a particular room, it's really about controlling the humidity in that area. Again, we know this is really challenging, but trying to keep the heat in our homes above 18 degrees is really important. But we know that the cost of energy is a real challenge for many of our customers at the moment, and Bex will talk a little bit about that later. Many of your homes will have extractor fans and vents across the tops of windows, or the windows can be left securely opened, just a little gap, which will let air trickle through the home. The fans that we use in our properties cost as little as 10 pence a week to run, and that's really important to let those fans do the work and keep those continued airflows through the home. Our modern day fans will trickle and continually move air slowly throughout the home all the time, and then when humidity levels increase, such as when people take a shower, they'll boost, improve the airflow, and then when the humidity drops, it'll quieten down and just be a little trickle. Some of our older fans have got filters in them, which sometimes can get blocked with fluff or grease. And if you've noticed that they're dirty and that you need them cleaning, please give us a call and we'll come out and help. As I said earlier, please try and keep doors to bathrooms and kitchens closed, particularly when you're using the shower or cooking. Again, just to keep the humidity down in bedrooms and living rooms. What is also important is you'll often see this time of the year condensation forming on the inside of windows. It's quite normal, but it is a sign that the humidity is high in that particular room. So what really is important is to try and wipe those windows down in the morning. Don't let pools of water collect on windowsills. Keep them dry, and all of that will help keep the humidity levels down and reduce the risk of that dreaded mould appearing. Coming on to mould, we've talked that it can happen in most homes. I've got it in my home in certain areas. And what's really important is through normal day-to-day care of our homes, we try and reduce it as best we can. And when we do see it in small quantities, we clean it. But we do know that in certain circumstances, particularly if there's a leak in the home, or there's a fault with any of the pipework, for example, that leaks can occur, and that can make damp or mould worse. And that's where we step in. Please report it to us, and we'll come out and we'll rectify the problem and deal with those issues quickly for you. There's many products on the market that you can buy from local shops or supermarkets to wipe mould and clean mould away. But if you do find that it keeps reoccurring and coming back in certain areas, then again, please let us know. It's really common at the back of wardrobes or beds, so particularly high humidity areas, but where air can get trapped in corners of the room, where the heat can't get to, and that mould can happen quite quickly. But often, once the mould is treated and we get the humidity levels down, often it doesn't come back. And again, keep those fans in use, keep the trickle vents on windows open as best you can, and that will all help get that balance that we talked about earlier. Again, there's lots of tips on our website, there's lots of information on there, and when our colleagues come out to visit you, again, they're all trained on damp, mould and condensation treatments, and they can provide you with advice in your home how to reduce mould growth and keep healthy homes for all of you. Now I'm going to hand over to Bex, who will talk about a range of other measures that Wolverhampton Homes offer for our customers. Thank you.
Brilliant, thanks Ian. Some really good tips there and information for you. Some of the things that you may or may not be aware of that have happened up to now, we have been out and about in the community across Wolverhampton putting on a series of Winter Wellbeing events, and we were really pleased to see a number of you come down to those events and receive even more information and meet some more of the team as well to report any issues that you've got. We do still have a couple of events planned and are looking to put more on into the summer months as well, as we start to get back together again following the pandemic. So for the Winter Wellbeing event specifically, we've got an event taking place on the 14th of February on Valentine's Day down at Bilston. And then also a couple of days later in Rategate on the 16th of February, and then Etting's Hall on the 28th of February as well. So if you are available and live in the area, please do come down and have a chat with us. As I say, meet members of the teams, give you a chance to talk through any of your experiences or issues, and then we'll be on hand to help you at those events as well. If you do have any questions, again, as a reminder, I can see that there's a couple of comments that have come through in the background. Anyone that's got questions as we continue to speak, please do put those through, and a member of the team will pass those on to us. In terms of the other support, at the beginning you might remember we mentioned that it wasn't solely to talk about damp, mould and condensation tonight. It was also to talk about the other support that's available through Wolverhampton Homes to our customers. So when it comes to some of the challenges Ian's mentioned around affordability and actually, having the money to heat your home, pay your rent, the increase, in the cost of living across the piece will have meant that we've seen customers' bills soar over the last few months. So it becomes harder and harder to look after the home in the way that perhaps you'd want to through heating it properly. If you are experiencing any challenges in managing your money at the moment, you've got any worries whatsoever, we do have a Money Smart team that are on hand to support Monday to Friday. So please do make contact with them. All of the information on the Money Smart team and how you can get a referral into that team is available on our website. They'll do anything such as helping look at what bills you've got coming in and out and giving you some practical hints and tips on how you can maybe best work that out for you to make it more affordable. If there's any savings that are available, they're really knowledgeable on all of the different schemes and programmes that are available to customers, particularly if you are struggling with your money at this moment in time. We do look at, what we can do to support you to pay your rent as well, as that, should always be one of the main priorities when you're looking at your list of bills. So the Money Smart team are trained in all of that to make sure that you're getting the support that you need should you be experiencing any difficulties. And the Money Smart team have actually put together some top tips to help you, and they can be accessed through the website as well. They've got an online benefits checker to check that you're getting all of the benefits that you're entitled to. Top tips on how to haggle for the best mobile phone deals and the best energy prices, broadband, water bills. There's support available through Severn Trent as well. If you are struggling with your water bills, they've got a charitable fund that customers can access. And then we've also got support on how to reduce food bills and access to food banks in the most extreme circumstances. So all of the links as well to those and how you'll find them on the website will be put in the comments for you this evening to pick up on. And you can complete a form on the website as well, so that a member of the team can then give you a call back and start that conversation off, really. And not everybody's always aware that that support's available through Wolverhampton Homes, but we are here to help with any matter of things like that to make sure that you're safe in your home. Outside of that, the City Council as well, we're proud to say we've partnered with them to support them in the provision of a number of warm spaces across the city. So you might have seen that on the news recently. That's happening up and down the country. These warm spaces have been created for people that perhaps need to go somewhere a bit warmer during the day if they're unable to heat their home, constantly, because we know how expensive that can be for everybody at the moment. There's also free transport available to a lot of the warm hubs as well, and in the warm hubs you'll have free access to Wi-Fi most of the time, and they'll also quite often put on free food and hot drinks for people that go down there. And it's also not meeting different people across the community that you wouldn't otherwise have got the chance to meet. So it's a really good opportunity to do that, as well as keeping yourself warm. It's also a safe space as well, importantly. Those warm spaces are staffed by volunteers and council members of staff. And as we said, because you can get your Wi-Fi, you can go there, sit there to your heart's content during the day, log into the Wi-Fi. And, a lot of them are based within community centres, libraries, places like that, where you can come across other services that might be able to support you if you are struggling. Finally, if you do want to get in touch with us outside of this evening, there are a number of ways that you can do that. We've already mentioned a number of really helpful things that you can find on our website with top tips. The phone lines are open for people as well. We have experienced a really, really busy time over the last few months, receiving in excess of 13,000 calls every month. So it has been very busy, especially during the winter months when there's an escalation in the number of issues being reported due to the weather, and Ian will definitely testify to that from a repairs point of view, I'm sure. However, we are putting a really big effort in to reduce the call wait times following your feedback, and we realise how important this is to people. So the wait times have come down. So please do, if you do need to contact us, we are available. You can use the website to contact us instantly. We've got the web chat on there as well. So there's lots of different ways. If you aren't able to wait on the phone or don't wish to use the phone, which lots of you have told us that you'd rather go online, that option's available for people. The website probably is the best place to have a look, because then you can be signposted to lots of other services and support that's available. With that in mind as well, you've also got access to your online portal. So if you need to go on there to do some of your more routine things like check your rent balance, and see whether or not you're up to speed on all your payments, you can do that really easily. You can also have a look if you've got any applications live with us at the minute and you're bidding for properties. There's updates on those available online. And it's a really quick and easy way for you to find that information without having to contact the Homes Direct team in the contact centre. And if your inquiry isn't urgent, then you may wish to send us an email or submit an inquiry form, which again is available on the Contact Us section of the website, and a member of the team will get back to you within 3 to 5 working days on all of those as well. Finally, this is a little shout out as to some of the other things we've got coming up, and we're happy to take questions on all of this now. But we do have our board member recruitment coming up that we're hoping to put the advert out later this week. That will go live on Facebook and Twitter, so keep an eye out for that. we'd really like as many of our tenants as possible to put themselves forwards for that and really help shape our vision on some of these things that we've talked to you about tonight. Because without customers being the voice in those conversations, it can be really difficult for us to sometimes, steer the organisation in the right direction. So we definitely encourage you to put yourselves forwards for that. And if anyone has got any questions, then please do let us know. I think there have been a few questions come through already. Okay, good. So we've got plenty of time, you'll be pleased to know, to go through those. So if we could take some of those.
Okay, so Laura has asked, I'm in a flat, how can I control the steam from my shower as it's setting the smoke alarms off? She said she's disabled and she had a sliding door fitted, so it's letting steam around the door. Somebody's coming out to look at it at the end of February, but at the minute people are having to listen to her alarm, so she's concerned about the neighbours. Okay,
I'm sorry to hear that. Was it Laura?
Laura, yeah.
Yes, sorry to hear that, Laura. So most of our flats have got extractor fans in them, which are designed, as I touched on earlier, to keep that steam, those steam levels low, and extract them out of the bathroom. So what I'd like to know, if you can send us a direct message, Laura, is your address. Just send us a direct message, don't put it in the comments. And then we can arrange for one of our team to come round and have a look at the flat, just to make sure whether there's an opportunity to put a better fan in there, or indeed install a fan if there's not one in there already. It may be that the ventilation in there isn't working as well as it could be, or we may need to relocate the smoke alarm as well if it's becoming a nuisance for you.
Thanks. We had another one to say that we advise people to clean the mould off if they do find that they've got mould growth. But another lady had said that she'd been asked to leave it so the team could see when they came out to review it. Which do we want people to do?
Okay, that's interesting. So, mould can be in various, expanses. There can be very minor areas of mould to large expanses. So, mould doesn't generally grow that quickly, but nevertheless, if there are some large areas of black and very dark mould, then that would normally require one of our specialist team to come out and provide, undertake a survey and understand whether there's something more serious going on. As I say, there might be a leak, or there might be a fault with the property. So in instances like that, then it is better that our officers and our surveyors can actually see the extent of the mould and understand how quickly that mould has grown in your home. But for areas of small sort of spots the size of a 5 or a 10 pence piece that may come round the windows or on the bathroom ceiling, then generally cleaning that off as part of normal routine cleaning and housekeeping is the best way to keep mould at bay, keep the levels down. Often with condensation mould, if it's left uncleaned, it can just propagate then really quite quickly, and then it can cause more of a health risk to people. So we would always recommend that you keep the mould under control, clean it where you can, but if you find that it keeps coming back in the same areas or it's growing really quickly, of course we'll come out, do a detailed survey, provide advice if we think it's down to condensation, and if there are technical reasons, the fan might be faulty or there might be a hidden leak somewhere, then we'll rectify that for you.
Thanks, Ian. Peter had said that he gets condensation. He has to wipe his windows and his windowsills every single morning. Does that indicate there's more of a problem?
I have to do exactly the same, Peter. Yeah, it's really common in bedrooms. Particularly if people keep the doors shut. So as the family household grows up and kids get bigger and there's more people living in the property, that can increase condensation levels. So it doesn't necessarily mean to say that there is a fault in the property or there's a leak. But what I would ask is that you try keeping the fans running, open the windows to the front and the rear of the property where you can, to create that gentle air movement, and see if that continues to be an issue. So condensation on the windows is really common this time of year, particularly when the temperature drops. So even with double glazed windows, you can get condensation. The important thing is to keep the windows dry in the morning, which it sounds like you're doing, which is great, just to try and keep those humidity levels down. But if you've got heavy condensation on the windows, it does suggest that the humidity in the flat is higher, in the property, is higher than it probably should be. So again, if you need some of our surveyors to come out and provide you with some advice, it may be that we can provide more advice on how to maximise the use of the heating or the ventilation. And again, we can check the fans are working properly for you as well.
Okay, and this is the last one we've got at the minute. Alicia just asked about the fungicidal wash and what she needs to look for in B&Q.
Okay, there's lots of products out there. So it's really a proprietary fungicidal wash. So what that does is it kills the mould, spores and makes it safe. So some websites will recommend you use bleach. We wouldn't particularly recommend that you use bleach because that masks the mould and it can come back quite quickly. So try and use a fungicidal spray and wipe the moulds down with, follow the instructions on the container and wipe them down. If you can, use disposable cloths. If not, any cloths or towels that you do use, try and wash them thoroughly, because you don't want the mould spores from that cloth going around the home. So again, it's one of those things that once you've used the cloth once to wipe it down, put it in the washing machine or rinse it out thoroughly under a hot tap.
Okay, that's all of the questions that we've had through for now. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the board recruitment, Bex?
Well, I think just to repeat on that point, we are trying really hard to get as many customers involved as possible in any decisions that we're taking across the organisation. And I think what's been really helpful over the last few weeks, particularly with damp and mould, is just how many customers have put themselves forwards to tell us about their experiences. And even some of the questions people have put in tonight have been brilliant, actually, because you hear the real side of things and what it's like living in our homes. We don't live in your flat, in your house. So, actually hearing that firsthand is really important for us. So with the board member recruitment, we want tenants to put themselves forward. We've got tenants on the board already, and those people really act as champions and challenge, pretty much all of the decisions that we take on where we spend money, what policies or processes are put in place for staff as well, so you can get involved in that and what that looks like. Different strategies for the organisation, so we have to take really difficult decisions all the time over what to do with our contact centre, for instance, and resources and staffing levels in there. The board get involved in some of that. Big projects that we do, the board will often have sight of those before we plough on with them. So without customers involved at that level, it makes it really difficult. So if you are passionate about having a say in what we do, you don't need to have had any experience previously of sitting on a board, not even committees or anything like that. It could be, that you've just got really good experience, you're passionate about the community, you can put that across really well. That's what we're looking for more so. And then what we'll do on the side of that is provide you with all the training and the support that you need in order to be successful in that role. Typically, in terms of time commitment, we're looking probably up to 12 hours a year. If you sit on some of our other committees and panels, you might give a few extra hours, but that would be your decision if you decided to do that. As I say, looking to get as many applications in as possible. So if you do have any interest whatsoever, we're happy to take any questions. We are going to be putting an advert out later this week so that you'd be able to apply. Makes it sound quite formal, but there will be interviews as well, because we want to make sure that we get the right people. So hopefully we'll have lots of really good applications to look through. And if you, for whatever reason, weren't successful on getting onto the board, we're actually going to be establishing a number of customer panels and customer scrutiny groups as well, where you can go and gain really good experience, We can give you the same training and support as what the board members will get, and then in the future you could progress on to being a board member. But most importantly, continue to make a difference for the things that matter to you as customers. So I think that's probably it, unless anyone's got any questions about becoming a board member or...
And on that as well, Bex, I know I've spoken to some customers that have expressed an interest about being on the board, and you know we are really genuinely looking for representatives across all diversity of our community. You know, to ensure that our board is representative, you know, from younger people that may not have even given it a thought to go on the board. I know it can sound very, very formal and almost scary, but the board really is a team that includes customer representatives to make sure that we truly hear the voice of the customers, to make sure that we can shape our services and meet as many needs of our customers as possible. So you've got nothing to lose. Put an application in, go for it. And if you want to have a conversation with somebody around what it means, there's plenty of an opportunity to develop either through the committees or the board structure, and speak to people to get some insight of, well, what does it actually mean for me? So I know that from our current board members, they all really enjoy it, but it really is key to have our communities shaped by the communities themselves. Is there any more questions?
No, that's it. We haven't had any more through.
Okay, so as a reminder then to everyone of those events that we mentioned earlier on, there are Winter Wellbeing events where you can come down and get even more top tips. Ian might make an appearance at one of those as well, if you're lucky. But the events will take place in Bilston on Tuesday the 14th of February, in Rategate on Thursday the 16th of February, and then in Ettings Hall on Tuesday the 28th of February. It's a bit of a tongue twister. So if you are available and live nearby to pop down and have a chat with us, we'll welcome you with open arms. There will be refreshments provided as well. Come down, have a chat with us, tell us what's on your mind, the issues you're experiencing, and then there'll be plenty of help and support on hand at those events as well. And the links to those and more information should be in the comments as well as being on our website. And I think that might be it.
Yes, so I think it's just down to me then just to give you all a huge thanks for joining us this evening. We hope you found it useful. Please send your feedback through or any ideas of future Facebook Live events that you may want us to think about. This is really about reaching out to you as our customers to improve services for you. As Beck said earlier, please look at our website. There's loads of information on there. But if you have difficulty in accessing the web, again, please get in touch via the telephone, and we'll come out to you and we'll provide you with all the advice that we can. So have a fabulous evening. Stay safe and warm. And if you have any concerns about damp, mould or condensation, please get in touch.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
soon.
Bye.